Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another slow cooker video. So today I have got 4 slow cooker breakfast recipes for you. These were so delicious and I think there are some really innovative and different ideas here. So if you struggle with getting a hot breakfast on the table in the morning, just like I do, this is definitely the video for you. Keep on watching and I'll show you what I made my family for breakfast in the slow cooker. All right, so we are going to make slow cooker cheese grits. Did you know you can make grits in the slow cooker? I know, I didn't either until I was reading the back of one of my grits packages, and yes, you can. So all you need for this is some stone ground grits. I'm using these white grits from South Carolina that I got a long time ago when I was traveling. Some milk, some salt, some butter, and some water, and then you'll also need some shredded sharp cheddar cheese, but we will put that in the morning. So you'll need 6 cups of water. I've already got 2 cups in the slow cooker, so I'm going to go ahead and add 4 more. And then for the corn grits, you'll need 1.5 cups total of those. Then next we're going to put in 1.5 teaspoons of salt and 2 tablespoons of butter. Okay, and then last, I'm just going to put in 1 cup of milk. I'm using 2% milk just because that's what I have on hand. And I'm just going to give this a stir and make sure everything is combined. And then this says to cook on low for 6 to 8 hours. Okay, so we're going to go on low for 8 hours since that is what this crock pot will do. It will do low for 8 or 10 or high for 4 to 6. So right now it's 11 p.m. So that means by 7 a.m. these should be done. Now the recipe does say to stir these in the middle of the night. I don't know that I'm gonna get up and stir them, so we're living on the edge here. All right, so it is the following morning. So let's see how this turned out. I know this is gonna be a shocker, but I did not get up in the middle of the night and stirred these, but it seems to have turned out okay. And next I have some shredded cheese here. It's just pre-shredded sharp cheddar cheese, so I'm gonna go ahead and stir that in. These do seem a little bit loose. I guess it depends on how you like them, but I'm hoping that this cheese will help thicken it up just a little bit. And so on the side of this, I'm going to make some scrambled eggs and just heat up some pre-cooked bacon for a super quick weekday breakfast. Okay, so I did put a little more salt and pepper in these after I tasted it. They're super creamy, so I would definitely recommend this method. I think that it's fabulous. It beats standing over the stove for, you know, half an hour stirring grits. Alright, so here we go. Definitely recommend this recipe. We get our cheesy grits and some scrambled eggs and some bacon. Bon appetit. The next slow cooker breakfast we're going to throw together is a breakfast casserole, and there are tons of recipes just like this one on the internet. I am going to put my own twist on it just because I'm going to cut it in half. Most of recipes call for 2 pounds of shredded hash browns, but I only have 1 pound, so we're going to modify it a little bit. I'll have the recipe in the description box below. So I have 1 pound of shredded hash browns here. This is just a leftover bag in my freezer, so a great way to use those up. You'll need some type of breakfast meat, so either cooked and crumbled bacon or sausage or ham. I am using this fully cooked chicken and apple breakfast sausage that I had in my freezer. You'll need some dry mustard, or I'm actually going to use some Dijon mustard, some milk, some eggs. We're going to use 6 eggs for 1 pound of hash browns. And then you'll also need some cheese. So I am going to use up some cheese that I have in my fridge. I'm going to add a couple slices of American, the rest of this Cracker Barrel mozzarella cheddar blend, and then some regular yellow sharp cheddar. And then today I am going to use the slow cooker liner. So I don't use these often. I think the last time I used one of these, it actually leaked. And so it was kind of a moot point. But I did decide to use it today because I know that the hash browns can sort of burn to the sides of the slow cooker. So all I've done is just line this and spray it with cooking spray. So I lined the bottom of the slow cooker with half of the hash browns. I seasoned them with a little bit of salt and pepper. I am going to season the eggs as well, but hash browns by themselves are very, very bland. They're just shredded potatoes, so they definitely need seasoning. And then I just put 3 slices of American cheese on top of that. My idea is kind of to sandwich the American cheese in between the layers of hash browns so that, you know, the cheese is kind of throughout and they don't get dry. So I'm going to layer the rest on top of here. I'm going to season these with salt and pepper, and then I will chop up my meat and mix up the egg mixture. All right, so here is the sausage. I went ahead and just warmed this up in the microwave just so it would thaw out a little bit. This is fully cooked, so obviously it's very easy. If you wanted to cook your own sausage, you know, crumble and cook it, or cook your own sausage patties, you could totally do that as well. But I have been trying to use up, you know, what's in my pantry and freezer. So this is a perfect use for that. So I've got my sausage here on the top of the potatoes. I'm gonna put a little bit of cheese on top of this, pour the egg mixture on, and then I'm gonna put a little bit more cheese on the top, just so I kind of have some melted on the top. So in this bowl right here, I've got 6 eggs that I cracked in there, maybe about half a teaspoon of salt, some pepper, and then I'm going to add about half a cup of milk. You could use half and half, or, you know, whatever you have on hand. And then, like I said, a lot of the recipes I looked at called for dried mustard, but sometimes I just like to use regular Dijon. So I'm gonna put about a teaspoon of that in, and then we'll whisk this up. All right, so we're gonna pour this egg mixture as evenly as we can over the hash browns. And then my concern always with a casserole like this is that making sure that it's not dry. So I am gonna kind of try to move the potatoes around a little bit just so that egg can soak down in there, trying not to poke the liner. I should be doing this with a fork, but anyway. I went with my gut, and my gut told me that it was a little bit dry.
And the chicken is as dry as a camel's in a desert storm. Look how stringy that is.
So I added 1 more egg with a little bit of milk, and that seemed okay to me. Always in cooking, if you feel like you need to change the recipe or modify it a little bit, definitely do that, because there are always idiosyncrasies of recipes, and you know, they may not always turn out right for everyone. So go with your gut. So I added an extra egg in there. I stirred it around a little bit with a fork. I hope I don't eat my words and poke a hole in the liner. But anyway, this is gonna go on low for 8 to 9 hours. So I'm gonna put the lid on. This is my OG Crockpot from my college days. So this is probably a Crockpot from like 2001, maybe, I would say. It's very sentimental to me. It's a 3-quart GE slow cooker. So we're just going to turn this on low, and it's about 10:45 right now. So hopefully at about 6:37 tomorrow morning, we'll have a delicious breakfast. Okay, good morning. We're here and we're going to check on the breakfast casserole. So it looks delicious. I'm going to go ahead and garnish it with a little bit of green onions and turn it to warm, and we'll give it a taste. All right, so here is our breakfast casserole plated up. I did taste it. It's really good. Personally, I think I would put some hot sauce on it, and I think that it would be even better. I want to try this with ham next time too, because I think it would be really good with ham. Definitely good with any kind of cheese you have. I think it would be good with pepper jack cheese too. So definitely a winner. And I would recommend this recipe. It's super quick to throw together, and you have a hot breakfast. Today's slow cooker breakfast meal is going to be biscuits and gravy. So I want to give a disclaimer, because obviously we're not going to make the biscuits in the slow cooker. However, this is the night before, and I am going to make the sausage gravy in my slow cooker. So I did actually do a video on Crockpot biscuits and gravy, which I can link down below. It actually ended up being highly controversial because not all of it was made in the slow cooker, and so I got quite a few thumbs down on that video. But you can go back and watch it if you want to. Anyway, I'm going to use some Jimmy Dean pork sausage along with some flour, salt, pepper, and some milk. I'm using my Cosori slow cooker. I'll link this down below if it's still available. The reason why I'm using this is because it has a saute function, so I can saute the sausage in the slow cooker, and then when it's cooked I can add the rest of the ingredients. And it also has a timer on it, which is nice because I think what I'm going to do is put it on low for 5 hours, and then I'll have it to, you know, switch to keep warm. That way it doesn't overcook. But anyway, we're going to try this and see how it works. Okay, so I've got my slow cooker here on the saute setting, and I've got my sausage in here. So this doesn't saute very fast, but it will work. So I'm just going to let this cook, and then I'll probably just drain it on some paper towels just to make sure that I've got most of the grease off. So the sausage is cooked up, and I actually am not going to drain it because you do want a little bit of grease in there, obviously, to mix with the flour, because that's what's going to thicken the gravy. And there's really not that much grease anyway. So I have about 2 tablespoons of flour here, maybe a little bit more. So I'm just going to sprinkle this in here and then stir it around for a little bit. And then I'm going to pour some milk in, season it with salt and pepper. I'm going to start out with 2 cups of milk. I might actually add another cup. As you can see, I'm not really following a recipe. I'm just kind of winging this, but I want to make sure that it doesn't cook down too much. So probably going to add another 1.5 cups of milk, and I'll season it with some salt and pepper. Okay, so I seasoned this with salt and pepper. I didn't put too much salt because I want to be able to taste it in the morning and see if it needs more seasoning, but I'm just going to put the lid on here, and then I just set this to low slow cook. So this particular slow cooker has low, medium, and high slow cook. It also has roast, bake. There's a manual button. You can do rice, yogurt, and then it has boil, brown, and simmer, and saute. Oh, and steam also. So yeah, I set it on low, set the timer for 6 hours, and then after the timer is done, it should automatically switch to keep warm. So we're going to cross our fingers, and I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, guys. So I have to say, when I lifted the lid of this morning, I felt a little bit suspicious that it didn't turn out. However, I have to tell you that it turned out delicious. I had to stir it up to kind of combine everything and make sure that the gravy was, you know, all cohesive and combined together, but it turned out delicious and perfect. I would not change a thing about it. I tasted it and I just had to add a little bit of salt and pepper, but obviously you can do that to your taste. Would definitely recommend this. I definitely think that you need a slow cooker with a timer if you're going to cook it overnight. We went to bed last night around like 11 and woke up at 6 this morning. So I obviously had it set to shut off or go to keep warm actually after it cooked on low for 6 hours, but turned out really good. I don't know if you guys know, like when you cook taco meat in the crock pot and it gets really tender, the sausage is tender. So 5 out of 5 stars, would recommend. And then I just cooked up some biscuits, baked them in the oven. These are the Pillsbury ones I showed you last night. So let me plate it up. Okay, so I just have 1 biscuit here with the sausage gravy. So delicious. Hi, Murphy. Would definitely make this again. I would definitely recommend it. This one is a winner. The next breakfast slow cooker recipe we are going to try is a slow cooker corned beef hash. I know, right? The recipe is in this cookbook that I just got not too long ago. It's by America's Test Kitchen. It's called The Complete Slow Cooker. And yeah, I just thought this was super interesting. It is a breakfast dish that I don't have very often, but I really like. So let me show you how to make it. So most of the recipes in this cookbook actually recommend that you put a aluminum foil collar in the back of your slow cooker. And the rationale they say behind that is that back here where the cord plugs into the slow cooker is the hottest part. And so in order to protect the contents from burning or cooking unevenly, they say that sticking this in there will help. So I don't know, I've never tried it before, but America's Test Kitchen has never let me down. So I just folded this piece of foil and I've kind of sat it in there like that. And then I coated the inside with a little bit of canola oil. I have some potatoes, about 2 pounds of those, 1 onion. The recipe calls for 2 chopped onions, but I'm just going to add 1 because I feel like that's kind of a lot. Some garlic. I have some thyme. You can use fresh thyme, but I'm using dry thyme. I have some paprika, salt, pepper. I'm using pastrami because that's what I have in the refrigerator, but it's very similar to corned beef, so you can use corned beef as well. And then it also calls for a little bit of chicken broth. I actually don't have any chicken broth right now, so I'm going to use some vegetable stock base. So in this bowl, I have 1 onion chopped, some garlic minced, I have some paprika, some thyme, some salt and pepper, and I'm just going to drizzle this with a couple tablespoons of avocado oil. And the reason why I think this recipe is so cool is because you actually use the microwave to cook the aromatics. So I'm going to stir this up, and then I'm going to microwave this onion mixture for about 5 minutes, and then we'll mix in the potatoes. So I cubed up my potatoes and I stirred them in with the cooked onion mixture. So next I'm going to chop up my corned beef and get that in there. I transferred the mixture into my slow cooker, and I'm just going to add the half a cup of broth over here. I don't know, this smells pretty good. I'm very hopeful this is going to turn out well. So the instructions say to cook 6 hours on low. My setting doesn't have that, so I'm just going to do 8 hours on low, and I'll be up before that in the morning anyway, so we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. All right, so it's the following morning, and the corned beef hash, or the pastrami hash, I guess, is done. So the next thing the recipe says to do is remove 2 cups of it and add a 1/4 cup of cream and mash it, and then add it back to the mixture in the crock pot. I don't have heavy cream, so I'm just going to use half and half. And then the original recipe says to place the eggs in the slow cooker and then like turn it on high to kind of poach them. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to fry the eggs on the stove. So I'll do that, and I'll share with you in a minute what it's like plated up. Okay, so here is what it looks like plated up. I did taste the corned beef hash, and it's really good. This is obviously one of those dishes that is not very pretty, but it tastes good. So we've got the corned beef hash with 2 eggs that I fried in a little bit of a nonstick spray in a skillet, and some hot sauce and green onions. Yeah, actually it's pastrami hash, but either way, it's delicious. I would recommend this recipe. I think that mine cooked a little bit too long. The recipe said to cook it on high for 6 hours, but I overslept and let mine go a little bit more, but it's fine. Okay, so I asked Adam what were his favorite out of the recipes I made, and he said the corned beef hash and the biscuits and gravy, so definitely give those a try. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.